Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, screwing up the beginning as normal. Wouldn't be a video if I wasn't screwing up the front. So today I got Division 2 with my red build. This has been a sore subject for me for a long time. I went with a red build a while back that I stuck with, which was kind of an improvised build. That's the one I'm using today. So it has 3 pieces of improvised. Everything's rolled red. I have an RK piece that I've rolled red, and the other healing one I've rolled red, and they're all repair skills. So my repair is high. I rolled the improvised pieces with repair. The only other thing I have that's a little bit different is I have my Ridgeway with the bleed. So you see I get smoked right here, but this is a case where the build, it just is pretty tanky for those cases where I'm running into stuff. The last video I talked to you about ChatGPT, so today I went into work and if I haven't already doxed myself already, I work with veterans. And there's a law that got passed last year, August 10th, 2022. It's called the PACT Act. And the PACT Act basically extends benefits to veterans that were on burning chemicals. A lot of the people in Iraq, Afghanistan, any of those Gulf war or battles during freedom, whatever their name was, and extends some of that to Vietnam vets. And there's different areas of people who are near radiation. Whatever. That's what the PACT Act is. So I knew ChatGPT wouldn't know what the F it was doing. And of course it didn't. So when I first put it in there, it was talking about a different PACT Act that had something to do with alcohol and tobacco or something, which was dumb. Then I had to give it a little more information, and then it gave a very generic thing that's basically copied off, the internet, changed off the websites that have down there. And then it had, as I ran it a couple times, it had the exact same disclaimer at the end. This is like a 5th grader, if they were copying, maybe would have done that. Not artificial intelligence. So why the big push? Well, how would you unseat Google? Right? So if you're going to make a search engine, that'd be the first thing. We have a search engine with AI in it. That's why Google's really fast come out with Bard. That's why Microsoft puts their crap, whatever, on Edge. But really, I've had to write articles on that PACT Act, and I had to do a lot of research. It was hard as F to get the research. I had people that asked me, well, if inside the PACT Act, I'm sorry, I'm getting way inside baseball here. Inside the PACT Act, there is a thing for people that were stationed at Camp Lejeune or families. From a certain time period, they can have a claim against the government because the water there was bad, like Flint. But it was at Camp Lejeune. That's inside the PACT Act. And there also was a capability for people to file claims against the government before. And if you hear on the news or you ever see in your feeds where they're talking about veterans getting scammed, this is the area they're getting scammed at. And I wrote an article on LinkedIn that I had to research and do all this stuff and explain the context, not ChatGPT, but now ChatGPT wasn't even smart enough to use it, knows who I am. It doesn't check to see what I've written on the topic, maybe. Maybe what I wrote was shitty. But that's kind of what I suspected on very focused things. You're going to have to give it so much information, you might as well do the results yourself. Another clarification, recently the Veterans Administration or the Veterans Benefits Administration did an article on one of the seamen that was involved in the buckthorn. I think I told you a little bit about the buckthorn. I had some of the facts right, wrong. But if you search one of those websites, Veteran Administration, buckthorn, they have a sailor that was commemorated. And then you can look at the actual investigation of the accident, and it explains in detail what happened during the flooding and everything. More than just 3 people survived. I was wrong. 23 people survived. So I want to make that correction out there also. Additionally, I've been doing some research on free will, quantum mechanics, determinism, and it seems like there's a demarcation in time where people say this is what determinism is because we can predict everything in science. Then they use some, hocus pocus, some bullshit. And there's a bunch of people, if you search about free will, how there's no free will, like it's very easy to debunk that. And basically because there's no randomness. Randomness is very hard. And so what I'm going to tell you, and this is kind of the overarching thing I'm talking about, and that's why I'm getting into this chat GPT and all this other stuff. Because what I want you to think about, that determinist people want you to think about, the reason you're listening to this podcast, because you were destined to listen to this podcast, right? You had no choice. You were always going to do this. And that's just, and I want you to think in reverse of some horrible situations, and that those people were fated to that automatically. It sounds like these modern day philosophers or whoever's saying that they've watched a little too much Final Destination. At that point, why do anything? But that's a deeper talk for a different day. So I'm running heroic with my red build, and we've already done, and it has some directives on. And so this is where I'll make the caveat to myself. We have the ongoing event and we have 4 directives. So this is a little bit harder than normal. So acceptable if you're playing heroic and you have directives. 4 of the 5 directives turned on. Acceptable. And it has my least favorite one. You can't use your skills because it gives you green tickets, like at a carnival or Chuck E. Cheese's, or what's that place that's an adult Chuck E. Cheese's, Dave and Jerry's, whatever it is, where you get tickets like I'm a kid, but I'm getting tickets in the division. I'm salty today. I was back at work, so I don't mean to be salty. So when I'm close enough, I put a bleed on them, plus all the other status effects. My handgun does critical hit and critical damage if I ever use that. And I have Honey Badger assault rifle to put my bleed, get more damage. It's a pretty lethal build with the healing. I don't stay in cover. I'm out there. So this is a heroic, and this is what I've told you about. In a heroic, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Now, I don't have the best red build because all my mod slots are taken up by reduced yellow damage. And another thing I would complain about is that I don't have any skills that do damage, but they're all healing skills. But if you want to build, and I'm not going to, you lucky YouTuber, incidental follower of Ronan Kazi, you who stumbled across this video are going to get a build video. But I'm not going to advertise it because I don't want to get the clicks for it. I want to get the clicks because you want to come here by accident. And you want to hear my pithy comments on AI. So the other thing, it's unfair to some of these software makers. I complain that they don't know what I'm thinking about. It's funny, this piece of software I use, LumaFusion, remembers the fonts I've used previously and puts them in my recently used, but doesn't remember that I'm using the exact same titling, and I do the exact same thing each time. And this is no fault of LumaFusion. It's very easy to use software. How much time would it save me? Seconds. I don't need you to save it. You make a great piece of software. I love you. I wish you would sponsor me to do a series of reviews on how awesome you are so I could buy more of your stuff. But requesting sponsorship over. But would that add value? I don't think it does. So I want you to think about what is AI going to add value? I talked a little bit in the last video about if you don't have the horsepower to generate ideas, you're going to get found out anyways. I love to go against those people. My mom always told me, aren't you scared that someone's going to... That's my son and his girlfriend are maybe going out and the dogs are pretending like they don't know who they are. Aren't you scared someone's going to steal your ideas? No, Mom. Because what people will say about people that steal ideas is, well, why don't you have any good ideas now? Why didn't you have good ideas before? Why suddenly when Ronan Kazi came to work, now all of a sudden you have good ideas? They always get found out. Because if you're an idea person, you can't help but making ideas and opening your mouth and giving suggestions and what have you. And I think that I said this isn't a John Henry can drive more railroad spikes than the machine. But I think that everyone has some innate talents that they should foster, not just lean on machines. Yes, it's easier to write. But could Chat GPT wrote the articles? It probably has better grammar than me. I bet you it does. I bet you Chat GPT never uses irregardless. I have a funny story about that. I'm not going to tell you right now, but yeah, I'm sure it does all that stuff. But it only knows what it's been programmed to do. It can't take wild leaps. So if I said, so it was predestined that I'd start saying ambrosia in every effing video when I'm really not sure what ambrosia is. So let's look it up right now, YouTube. I think it's some type of drink, and I think it's some type of jello and cream jello dish too, but I don't know. I'm just going off of memory. Ambrosia. So ambrosia is a group also, because I'm on YouTube. I'm sorry, group that was named Ambrosia. I didn't even know. I hardly knew ye. I didn't know you even existed. Now I'm on Google. One time someone said if I used the voice search that I was indicating I was old. Oh, and it didn't spell ambrosia right. So you see that build's awesome. He needs assistant. I can pick him up because I got healing and everything. I'm running, go get him. Ambrosia, solid ideas, yummy food recipes. What's his name? Ambrosia mean? This is on some names.org. And it's not helping. Meaning and origin. They don't even know. That's another website making money off us. All right, names look. Let's see. Ambrosia, name, numerology. Wow. Maybe I've stumbled on something. Maybe ambrosia is something important because it has no definite meaning. All right, I'll give you that. So look, I just picked some word. I can't really find an easy definition for it. Or is that because I'm stupid or do I need Chat GPT? Anyway, so now we're going to go get this. This is what's kind of nice. We finished a mission before that set off this bounty, and we finished this control point, and we still have time to do the bounty. Heroic bounty. With all these directives. But you see, the directives don't even bother me. I don't even think about that kind of stuff. That's why you go into Legendary Summit with all the like 7 of them on. You won't worry about these anymore. You'll figure out a way. This guy was headshotting like an MFer. Probably had that new headshot build. This is when I'm not sure, I like something like an AK because it hits a little bit harder. Probably don't have to reload as much. And so this time to kill thing, that's a thing that you don't think about a lot. That's maybe what you should be thinking about. How long does it take me to kill stuff? And so where's the reload coming? I can kill one guy maybe with one thing if I don't miss any shots. Now, I could change that with my mods, put more crit in. I could maybe change my... Look, they ran right past me. I could maybe change my gun to a submachine gun because I can run closer and exploit that crit stuff. So there's a lot of different things to think about in the builds. I've told you before you should have a platform. And a platform of this build is you have the main pieces. You get all those at higher level, get the expertise up on them, and then you just do variations off that. It's Tuesday, so I'm going to probably try to get my shit done today. Sorry for my French, YouTube. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Some other news on news. I know I'm all over the place. Maybe I shouldn't have an energy drink so late in the afternoon. If you want to crossplay and be on Destiny, we're getting a raid group. I think we have 5 people. Let me tell you who's in so far. The one, the only. You know him from his very many in-depth videos on YouTube. His name is Ultimate Shield 340. Not to be outdone, the organizer doesn't necessarily want to be the leader. Reluctant leader with a high EQ. Coming in about 171 pounds, lean, mean fighting, sloth moods. There's 2. You may know her from Grin. You may know her from Kool-Aid. But did you know her name was Grenade? Yep, that's right. The one and only Grenade! And number 4. He is neither super. He's neither lanky. He's neither slanky. He is super slanky lanky. That's 4 on this raid team on Destiny 2. And me, who gets carried all the time because I suck. Sorry, YouTube. So we need more people. Who's going to crossplay with us? I will give you the, what's that thing called? Discord. I'm horrible at Discord. I'll tell you why when we talk in person. But we need a couple more people at least. Would love to have you. Sloth has a clan that he's in. Super Slanky's already in a clan, which is okay. You can be an already clan. This is what I like to call a meta clan. When I went on Chat GPT, it told me this is called meta clan. I'm sorry, I'm an a-hole. So that's what this build is, right? You're just going to be able to go everywhere. This is 4 directives, heroic. It's like nothing. You're not going to go down. If you go down, you've really overplayed. You can take this build and you can make it lighter or softer. Kind of the key is on all the pieces, except for the chest piece, I have some type of repair plus 20%. So that's on the improvised pieces. I rolled with that. So this is what I try to do. On all these pieces, I'm trying, and I'll show you a picture of it at some point. I'm trying to roll repair and the blue repair your armor stuff. And then on top of that, I have yellow armor reduction. Please, when you're in a heroic and they start spewing out all yellow people, I just jump for joy. It's the reds and purple that I'm scared of. So tying things up, I'll do a little more stuff on the AI. I kind of touched on, and I didn't get to the whole point. Silicon Valley, a lot of the ideas are making money off pre-existing things. Uber's making pre-existing money off people with cars and not paying them what they use for the cars. What if the Uber driver got 60 cents a mile according to the IRS? So your Uber drive went 10 miles and Uber got like 10 cents of that, but the driver got 50 cents of that. So, and it was just based on your mileage. And what if you could figure out how much it was based on the mileage? Oh, it's going to be the IRS rate. It'd just be easy. But then they couldn't make money and they couldn't be surge times and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of things. There's not a lot of really great new business things where people aren't making. In the business we were in, we'd always have people that would quit and start their own business to repair the machines that we sold, and we had our own. So you have to have these arguments. Why are the factory repair people better than the other repair people? Why is Jim, who worked for us 2 weeks ago, worse than he's not? You know Jim, so you're going to stay with Jim. So that's someone making money off of the training in the company, and that's going to happen. But that's what Chat GPT is doing. And then you got to ask yourself, why is it in the media so much? Why is it out there? Why is it out there? And I listened a little bit to Lex talking to the owner of it. Oh, it was a little more biased to, I don't care about the politics, but on Trump, it was more negative. On Biden, it was more neutral. And then they said, oh, we fixed that. If you subscribe to, there is a person, Roy Cohn. who advised Trump, and he's not probably the first person who said it, but any publicity is better than no publicity. So negative is better than positive. So how do you garner people on the right? Just say it's against Joe Biden. You get them to blow up on it. And now you got screen actor, screenwriters saying, well, we're going to use it for some, like it's all just horseshit, right? And I'm going to touch one last thing about using these tools. You should know how to use the tools, of course, because that's how when you're older, you're going to get swapped out. You can't use those tools. But number two, everyone, foster your creativity, your critical thinking. You don't have to take what I'm saying. I got in here and told you I was wrong about the buckthorn. That's a story I got told all the time I was in the Coast Guard. I read the actual report today. Pretty interesting. And I was wrong. And I do some of this research, and you got to read the stuff. So we're going to go after this final boss. You see, I'm just going through there. It's a bad spot to be in, but I'm going to look. I got 2 healing things out. One bad thing about the ball, it does an AoE. So I want you to think about this healing. One of the healing, the ball is like the mask, catharsis, and the drone is like Ridgeway if you had piece of armor. They're different types of healing. Really, the drone's better than catharsis or than the Ridgeway. Ridgeway only happens when you do it. I don't know if it has an analog. So I'm going to just rush this guy. Normally would have never done this, but it's heroic, it's easy. If they're yellow, I'm going in. If they're purple, I'm scared and I'm hiding. And he is purple. Run. And I tell you what, when I hear that grenade go off, I'm just waiting to get my ass smoked. Real quick, you're taking down controllers on Black Tusk. The other controllers, who cares? If it's not Black Tusk, you're taking down Grenadiers first. The melee guys run straight at you, so why don't you hit them? And the crazy ones that take all the drugs, just shoot them in the pouch. And the guys running with the shield, shoot them in the feet. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to go get that Alvarado, if that's his name. This is time normally where I'll say thanks for subscribing, sharing, liking. Hit that bell. I always forget to say. But I appreciate you helping grow the channel. Should I do a Patreon? What would I give you that I'm not going to give you more? I'd have to take things away. I don't really want to do that. I'd like to make a little bit of money. I've been buying a little bit of these games. So I'm thinking about that. But it's another topic for another day. All right. Thanks, everyone. Ronan Kazi signing off.
That's another one down. Good job, Agent.